Hi, everybody. Welcome to a special edition of In the Weeds on the road at the Harvest Cup in Worcester, Massachusetts. I'm Jimmy Young, the founder of Pro Cannabis Media and the host of In the Weeds with Jimmy Young, because why would you have In the Weeds with Jimmy Young hosted by another guy, right? Of course. Joining me here on the floor at the Harvest Cup is Ralphie G, Ralphie Greenberg. The company is impressed, right?
Yes, very impressed.
Now, I was impressed when I walked by his booth and I overheard him say, "Hey, my daughter and I grow great weed." And I said, I've been waiting my whole life to hear that phrase, right? And that's how we met, right?
Very much so.
So tell me.
And it's a true statement. We grow great weed, my daughter and I.
And is it one particular strain and more than anything else, or is it every strain you guys produce?
I think every strain that we do has its own strain and genetic makeup, but we do a great job in everything that we do at Impressed LLC. We're really excited about the team. We're just crushing it, really. We're thankful for the audience receiving us so well.
Now, your stuff is available at dispensaries all over the state?
Yeah, all over the state. We're in about 40, 45 dispensaries. We grow some amazing flower. We just took on Blue River Terps for our solventless extraction line, so we're really excited about having the Blue River Impressed collaboration.
So, Ralph, I got to ask you the million-dollar question. How in the world did you and your daughter get involved in the growing process?
Well, we've always been cannabis consumers in our family. Started with my dad, Jackie, and we were always puffing on the pipe or smoking joints together. And, you know, Alli was a hockey player, and Alli had a very bad knee injury. And we had some troubles in the family with some opiate addiction, and Alli did not want to go on any type of mind-altering drugs. She said, "Dad, do you think we can smoke some pot together and figure out if that will help with my injury?" And we smoked. We enjoyed never mind the communication, but just the camaraderie that we had. And we did some growing in the house, and we had some other types of things happening. And, you know, when medicinal and recreational cannabis came available, Alli and I went for a license, found an investor, and here we are 6 years later, growing some amazing weed with Jimmy Young here. And
That's all right. Yeah. So the thing I really harp on a lot is responsible use of cannabis. I believe it's a plant medicine, and I also believe that when I hear prohibitionists, our elected officials, always concerned about what about the kids? What about the kids? Well, you actually you grew up with it. It was part of your world. It was, you said your dad, and you didn't tell your daughter not to do it. You just said, hey, she's the one who came to you and said, "Dad, can you help me out? Because I don't want to take opioids." Is that what pretty much happened?
100%. Well, my daughter knew that I was a cannabis consumer. I'm not a drinker. Alcohol just never ever suit me. And candidly, when my dad was a smoker, I always appreciated my father knowing that he smoked and how he was on the use of cannabis. And I liked it. I appreciated the communication. I appreciated the fun. I appreciated eating with him. And it was a lot of fun in my house with the cannabis. And, you know, honestly, it was just something that we grew up with. And, you know, thinking about children, listen, everybody got to lock up their stuff if they got kids in their house. I mean, honestly, you know, you've got to be a concern if your children, if you're not teaching your children, first of all, about this new a product that's on the market that's legal, then that's something wrong with that as well.
Right.
So we got to lose that stigma, candidly.
Right, and something you may or may not know, but in Europe, they teach their children about responsible use of alcohol as soon as I'm pretty sure it's as soon as they turn 13. It's bar mitzvah age.
Bar mitzvah.
You know what I mean?
A man or a woman, of course.
I'm sorry, but you know
It's a Jewish thing.
It's a Jewish thing, and you know, I always say to people that say, "Well, what about the kids?" I go, define what a kid is, because anybody under the age of 45 could be my kid right now.
100%. Me too.
Right? You feel the same way.
61. Yes.
We're 66. A couple of old guys talking about, but it's, you know, we laugh.
A couple of stones
and this
trying
is
to make a difference.
Yeah, I don't like that word.
Oh.
Okay.
I'm a guy trying to get stoned making a difference. Or
that's better. That's a little bit better. That's a little bit better. My point is, I don't like any negative connotations with this plant medicine, and I don't like the word recreational. Let me explain to you why. People who watch my show or listen to me know why. You don't take Robitussin recreationally, even though it gets you high, right? And they know that because now you have to be over 21 to walk out of CVS or Walgreens or Rite Aid with it, with the product, which is an adult use product, because supposedly 21-year-olds are mature enough to understand the differences. I'm not so sure about that.
No, we know the difference between that now. Yeah, 100%.
You're growing cannabis the stuff that you're growing is far more potent than the stuff that your dad probably had access to.
Oh, very much so. I mean, there's new techniques to make these potencies and these terpenes, come raising the bar. Right. But it is about dosing. Everything in this industry is about dosing, and it's important to dose it to your liking and to your ability.
And start low and go slow is the mantra.
100%, yes, 100%.
So it's responsible use that you embrace of this plant, and more importantly, you've engaged with your child, and now she grows up understanding the proper way to approach this plant medicine and its benefits.
Anything in life needs to be done responsible. We're only here for a short time. Doing right by doing good is our model. Creating a relationship with people to understand what we're supposed to do with the plant, with education, is very important. It's funny, when people go on vacations in the summertime and heading to the Cape or heading on highways and byways, and they say, adult use cannabis, next exit. We used to read signs on the billboards when we were kids, license plates, billboards, and you see these, and now children are asking the question, what does it mean, recreational cannabis? What does it mean, stop here and get a new bud, light it up here, whatever. So it's important for us to be understanding.
Now you talk about billboards, the only allowed marketing tool for the cannabis industry. And as someone who's been in commercial media for 40 years, we used to laugh at the billboards because you have a second and a half to make an impression. You can't tell a story on a billboard. Right. You just can't. Right?
Stop. You can light it up is one of the ones on the highway.
That's right. And I'm sure you know this, that the Cannabis Control Commission wants to make sure that any exposure to any content is adult 21 content, right?
Yes, 100%, yes.
Right? And yet you're just telling me a story about kids and the games we used to play in the car to pass the time was, hey, what's cannabis? The good part about that is it starts a conversation with the adults in the car. Right.
What I also noticed, just to interrupt, because I'm stoned right now, candidly, so I might have to use my.
You're high right now. You're not stoned.
Right now, okay. Just thinking about the communication with these children is so important. I mean, when the CCC gave us licensing 6 years ago, there was a lot of television programs going on about cannabis and how to hide it and how to, teach it.
Vilified it instead of educated.
100%. They stopped it. And I don't know if it was an economic thing, but there's a lot of money being spent in very wrong areas, and I think education is very important for young adults and young people.
Right. And in Europe,
and for the older.
Right. But in Europe now, there's fewer alcoholics because they bring up their kids with alcohol. Right. When it's a little different with you because your dad was pro cannabis. Yes. Right. But when you tell a teenager not to do something, what do? They do
it in excess. And I know
with no guidance.
100%.
And again, the people that are making up the rules, this is what drives me nuts about the industry, but the people that are making up the regulations. Oh, no, we got to keep, it's a drug, it's reefer madness. No, it's not reefer madness. Read about it, learn about it, look at the science and the research behind it. More importantly, find a dose that might actually improve your life.
100%. Now, when my children were younger, I'm not saying that they were kids at the point, they were young adults, I knew that they smoked pot. I knew that they smoked away from the home, and I had said to them, on Friday and Saturday nights, bring the kids to the house. You want to smoke in the house. Leave the keys, hang out. I'll get some Chinese food. I'll get some pizza. We'll have some fun. We'll enjoy each other's company. But I'll understand what you're like when you get high or you get altered from cannabis. I want to make sure you're doing it properly and you're not doing it to excess. And I did that a lot with the kids, and I taught them a lot, and I'm appreciative of my open-minded mentality with the kids. It was important to me.
Absolutely. And now your daughter is in the industry with you, which is one of the nicest things you can do as a parent and a child. Am I right?
Oh, my God. And we grow great weed together.
That's what I heard.
It's a vibe. I mean, you know what? Working with any, family members, you can have some problems in businesses, but working together with my daughter, we understand each other. She sometimes rolls her eyes at Dad, and then she says to me later, you know what, Dad, I appreciate the way you thought about that. I want to take it to a different level in the way I can do things, but the way you said it to me, I'm going to just spin it. And I just appreciate her and I, the way we jive and vibe and the way we're going forward. We're very, very excited, really. And Jimmy, I appreciate this opportunity to tell the community about what we're doing, really.
Well, I appreciate that too, because this is what we do at Pro Cannabis Media, is we want the industry to tell their stories through our platform. And again, he had me at, my daughter and I grow great weed. And that was it. And now I think we're going to end up being friends and hanging out and doing all that stuff
we'll
because
have some fun together. I really appreciate it. It's really important. Like-minded individuals get together, communicate. That's how we create things, create friendships, create community. It's very important, this community, to me. Jim Belushi was here today. A lot of people got a real kick out of saying hello and just seeing him and having that. It's wonderful that the community is experiencing, some celebritics and what have you.
I'm big on, I don't want legalization because it involves lawyers and politicians. I want normalizations. I want acceptance of reality, like what you are setting the example for other parents and how to deal with it with their children. Because it's so important. Educating the next generation is key to a lot of things.
Oh, it's huge. And this whole new social consumption, just to make a quick point on that, I think it's very important for us to have like-minded people under an umbrella communicating, smoking, dabbing, whatever your consumption level is. It's important for us. It's very important to have the Cannabis Control Commission in every state having some type of consumption, get together. It's very important.
Well, they're working on that, as you know, and of course,
They got to move faster on that.
That would be our form of government, the bureaucracy and
Why don't you and I take over?
Ralphie, I love that idea. Cannabis standard time is what you're actually. It's one step forward, two step backward. One step forward, two steps back.
I remember that show. Sure.
Right, and that's how it works. Hey, Ralph Greenberg, it's impressive. It's impressed, and he's impressive, and I'm impressed that I got to know you like this, and it's a good little story, isn't it?
Thank you so much. Yes, it is, Jimmy. You know what? When you get me at hello, that's important, right?
I love it.
And I'm appreciative. You know what? Thank you so much for the community listening to us. Impressed LLC puts their heart and soul into everything we do every day. Those girls mean a lot to us. So what we say here at Impressed LLC is smoke it all, we'll grow more. Ralphie G in the house.
He needs his own show. That'll do it for this edition of In the Weeds with Jimmy Young. For Ralph Greenberg, I'm Jimmy Young. Thank you so much for listening. And remember, it's a whole new world of weed out there. Use it responsibly.